All right, welcome to the debut episode of It's Still Real to Me. Jonathan Zaslow here. Of course, It's Still Real to Me is part of Zaslow Show 2.0. Zaslow Show 2.0 is always presented by our title sponsor from day number one, Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys, 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. It's Still Real to Me, the debut of our pro wrestling show. I've been saying for so long now, for years, you guys have been asking for it. I've been asking for it. Want to do a pro wrestling show. We obviously mix in the pro wrestling on Zaslow Show, also on Zaslow Show 2.0. But every Saturday, we have It's Still Real to Me, which deals solely with all the big week stories in professional wrestling, okay? WWE, AEW, NXT, maybe something crazy happens, New Japan or Impact, I don't know. I can't tell the future, okay? But for the most part, WWE, AEW, NXT, and we decided to do the debut episode of It's Still Real to Me. It'll be every Saturday, Monday through Friday at Zaslow Show 2.0, and then on Saturdays, if you're already subscribed, you don't have to do anything. It's just going to pop up under Zaslow Show 2.0 every Saturday. And we decided the debut episode, it's a good idea. We will do a reaction show to WWE Crown Jewel as we welcome aboard my partner here, Joey Levine. Joey, of course, now yesterday, you popped in on Zaslow Show 2.0. We did a very in-depth kind of a preview, big deal, not a big deal, on WWE Crown Jewel. So at least my audience, they got to hear you for the first time. You're not a stranger anymore. We'll be doing this show every Saturday. Normally, we're going to get together Saturday mornings and pump out this show. Like the idea will be to get it out there late morning, at the latest, very early afternoon. Now, today it's going to be late afternoon, early evening because we wanted to sit back, watch WWE Crown Jewel, and then get the reaction. Oh, now, overall, just big picture wise, did we enjoy WWE Crown Jewel today?
I'm still kind of buzzing from WWE Crown Jewel. There were moments where I, overall big picture, wasn't sure if I was going to come away that way, but after the way that show ended, I am buzzing. And overall, after the way that main event was, I don't know how you couldn't come away happy from Crown Jewel.
I like how the Saudi shows they've really evolved, okay? Because when this started, when did they start doing these shows? Maybe it was like 4 years ago. Does that sound right?
I know just because of on the broadcast, Michael Cole mentioned the first women's match in Saudi Arabia was 2019.
Right.
So I don't know if that was the first show.
It may not have been the first show, right? That was Natalya, Lacey Evans. That was a very big deal. I remember that. So it's been like 4 years. And obviously it was super controversial because the first show, I think, was like right after you had the reporter from Washington who was, they may have been murdered by, people, Saudi princes. I don't know what's going on there, So it was a very controversial thing. But I like the way that these shows have evolved because I really felt like the first couple shows that they did out there, Crown Jewel, Greatest Royal Rumble, the very famous Titus O'Neil spot,
Greatest Royal Rumble. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Where they had like 60 participants. Oh, it took forever. Braun Strowman won, but you can't recognize him as a Royal Rumble winner. You can't do that. So anyway, those first shows, to me, they felt like glorified house shows. Not a big deal. Felt like glorified house shows. Belts are not going to change. No big storyline is really going to be advanced. And now I watched the show today. I'm like, that's a legit WWE Premier live event. Like that's a legit pay-per-view show. We had a title change, and big storylines are advanced. Big things happened, and man, like they're doing that show today. It's in a stadium, and it is just packed. Like I love the way that those shows have evolved.
Yeah, and I think to your point, if you watched the last 3 matches of this card, plus the Bray Wyatt segment.
The Bray Wyatt, whatever they're doing there. We don't really know.
Exactly. The Bray Wyatt thing. Those last 3 matches would you be disappointed if those were the last 3 matches of WrestleMania?
No, those can easily be matches that are on the card at WrestleMania. Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily.
So, I mean, so to your point, I think just having those matches on the card and the way they lived up, I think, to the hype of what they were going to be shows how big this card has become. And also on the whole, like, controversial in the beginning back. Hey, there was a point this week where we didn't even know if the show was going to happen because there was the whole intelligence that Iran might bomb Saudi Arabia. And, like, I don't know if you heard about this, but
I didn't know the details, but I know that there was something happening that had the show in jeopardy.
Yeah, I don't know if it was ever really in jeopardy, but I guess we don't have to go too deep down this, but I guess there was some reports that maybe Iran was threatening something, and then people didn't know if WWE would still go, even though I think by the time the report came out, all the superstars were already there, and I'm assuming they wouldn't put them in danger if they were able to not. So, but yeah, it was incredible. I think it ended incredibly. There were some moments in the card where I thought I was watching the same match twice, maybe three times, but overall, I thought it was a massive success for what it was, which, really was our tribal chief retains. And Logan Paul, hey, that scale of you say one to Bad Bunny, I say one to Pat McAfee, it may be one to Logan Paul now.
So let's start there. All right, we'll cover everything, and what it means going forward for WWE programming this week. So the debut episode today of It's Still Real to Me is, it's going to be all WWE. It's going to be all reaction to Crown Jewel today. But when we do the show moving forward, like next week, we're obviously going to spend, at the very least, considering that things happen in both promotions, we'll be trying to spend equal time WWE and AEW. But today is just going to be a WWE Crown Jewel reaction type show. So let's start with the main event. And we talked yesterday on Zaslow Show 2.0 on Big Deal or Not a Big Deal. We know Roman Reigns is going to win. To show you, I mean, it was a foregone conclusion. Everyone knows Reigns is going to win. To show you how good I think both competitors are, but also how believable Logan Paul is in the ring, there were at least two false pins that I was holding my breath because I want Roman Reigns to win. He's my favorite. I don't want the reign to end with Logan Paul. All right. That's not the way I want to see it happen. And there were at least two false finishes where I was holding my breath and relieved that Roman Reigns kicked out.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was so we weren't sure yesterday it was going to be a squash. I
thought it was going to be a squash.
Right. And it would have made total sense. But I think the thing to me, and I think I talked about this a little bit yesterday, was the reason I didn't totally know is because we still don't really know what Logan Paul's future is with WWE. And based on what I saw in that match, that looks like a guy who's training to be a full-time WWE superstar, at least for a while. And there was at least one false finish. I don't remember the second one, but I'm sure there was. Because I was captivated by that match. I thought obviously Roman's great.
I'll tell you exactly the two. The first one was when Logan Paul landed the back-to-back Superman punches. That was the first one. I was holding my breath there. He kicked out. The second one was when he landed the frog splash after the big table spot outside. Those were the two where I was like, is he about to win this match? Those were the two.
Yeah, he's a freak, man. He's really athletic, that guy. I mean, and we knew he was athletic, but he had the table spot and then he had the frog splash. But even before that, he had the Superman punch to the kip up, to the crossbody off the top rope, to the standing moonsault.
He's amazing.
Which, I mean, how many guys on the roster can do that right now that have been training their whole lives to be professional wrestlers? It was super impressive from start to finish. The reason I didn't think the match would be this good, even if it went that long. But we talked about it yesterday. This is a kid who is a 26, 27-year-old millionaire who has all the time in the world to just train, and he's already naturally a good athlete. I definitely didn't want to see Roman Reigns' title run end now. But what I saw in that match, if Logan decides to be a WWE superstar, tells me if somewhere down the line, he is a WWE champion. I wouldn't be shocked.
Well, look, I mean, I could tell you right now, like, what's the future going to hold for him? He's going to be at Royal Rumble. All right. He's going to be at Royal Rumble, and he's also going to be at WrestleMania. Like, they're going to use him in the huge events, the stadium shows. The part that I find weird, and you can't necessarily tell because, look, they were in Saudi Arabia today. It's a different fan base. You can't really judge fan reaction based on what's going on there. The part that confuses me is it doesn't seem that the WWE audience knows how to react to him yet. Because when he comes out on Raw, SmackDown, whichever one it is, they usually boo him. They don't give him a good reaction. He's very clearly a babyface, and he's a spectacular performer, and they boo him. So it's weird to me, the reaction that he gets.
Well, I think that they boo him because take away wrestling or professional wrestling or sports entertainment from it. I think the thing to do is to boo the Paul brothers. People just don't like Logan and Jake Paul for whatever reason. There are some people who like them, but there is some level of these rich 20-somethings who became rich off of making YouTube videos, and now they're just doing whatever they want, and they shouldn't be doing that, so they're not good. But at the end of the day, like, everybody would love to be these guys, and part of it is that I think is also he's up against Roman, and Roman's supposed to be a heel, but he can't be a heel because everyone loves him now.
But shit, like, what was their reaction when he was fighting The Miz? Like, I don't think everyone was on his side when he was fighting The Miz. And even when...
Miz is a top heel in the game, so it's like... They're kind. Well, I thought you mean when he fought The Miz, not that when he was like teamed with The Miz.
Oh yeah, now, his debut match when he teamed with The Miz, of course they're gonna boo him. But then his last match, wasn't he 1-on-1 with The Miz? He fought The Miz, and they weren't cheering for him.
Right. I think I gotta think part of it is just his outside of wrestling persona, and really, like, everyone hates Jake. People seem to hate Jake more than they hate Logan.
Oh boy, I tell you, I did not like Jake's spot today. I thought it was
actually really
liked it. You liked it.
Well, so here's the thing. So, and I guess I'll get into this really quick because I was thinking about this before we were getting ready to record. I'm a diehard MMA fan. Like, there is UFC going on as we're recording right now that probably no one cares about. I'm going to watch it after we're done with this. So if you're a diehard MMA fan, Anderson Silva is a big deal to you.
Yep.
And 1 week ago, Jake Paul beat Anderson Silva in a boxing match. No matter what you think about it, no matter if you think he's 47 and Jake's 26 and Jake's a little this and that, just seeing him do that gives him a different aura in this whole boxing thing. And then him being there, even though this is already a pretty huge event, it's Roman, it's Logan Paul, there was just something about a week after him beating Anderson Silva, being in Saudi Arabia, the way he came out, you saw what was coming. I mean, you knew it was when the Usos came out the way it was, and then you knew it was going to be Jake heads up against my blanking
Solo.
So with Solo, but I liked it. There was something about the way it went down. You knew it was going to happen at some point, but I kind of enjoyed it.
Well, maybe I need to rephrase it. It's not that I didn't like the spot then necessarily. I thought the execution was really poor.
Oh, well, sure. He's probably never trained before.
Right. I thought the execution was super poor, and that killed it for me because a good spot was developing, and the two knockout punches that he landed on Jay and Jimmy, obviously you got to suspend a lot of disbelief when we're talking about pro wrestling here, but it looked so poor to me that I couldn't get behind it. It ruined it for me.
But it did lead to one of the best spots of the match, which was Logan going over the top ropes into the Usos,
right? Which
was another freak athletic move where you're like, this guy, third professional wrestling match of all time in his career, and that's what he's doing. It was fun. I was like, it was a little weird. I thought, them. I actually thought that his co-hosts, so that I don't know if you're aware.
I didn't know that. I do know it now because I've seen the video. Have you seen the video from the iPhone that he takes from his co-host and he goes up top to the rope and he lands the splash on Roman on the table? The video's
so he really was recording.
Oh yeah. I saw the video. It's wild.
That's very cool. And
Yeah,
it's hard to do original things in professional wrestling. And I don't know that that's ever been done.
Yeah, the quality came out great and it's wild.
I got to tell you, I was pretty impressed with the bumps that his co-hosts took from the Usos.
Yeah, they were fine. Yeah, they were fine.
I mean, for two bums that have never probably stepped in a ring before and definitely aren't athletic.
Yeah, they were fine.
I mean, I thought the whole match really, everything about it. Heyman was incredible. Heyman had his little Paul Bearer moment, which I thought was awesome, where he was, "Get up, my tribal chief, get up," and he was like raising his hands. I was like, oh, I bet if you asked him, there's a little Paul Bearer inspiration in that moment.
Now, what do you make out of, unless I didn't pick up on it, they completely ignored acknowledging why Sami Zayn is not there. Now, we know why he's not there. He's Syrian. He doesn't believe, he doesn't go to the events there in Saudi because there is a major history there. He's never going to go to any of those events in Saudi Arabia. I don't believe they ever addressed him not being there.
I don't think they can because of the relationship with Saudi Arabia, because then they would have to get into why he doesn't want to be there. So I think to them it's better left.
But they could have. But couldn't they have done something where, like on SmackDown last night, he got hurt. The storyline, he got hurt and he couldn't make the trip.
Yeah, they could have done. They probably
didn't do anything.
Something. Yeah,
right?
they probably should have done something like that. The only time on the whole event that anybody, wrestler or announcer, even acknowledged Sammy was during the Usos match when the crowd was chanting, "We want Sammy," and Jey Uso looked at him and was like,
"You ain't go get Sammy. You ain't go get Sammy." Yeah. So,
that was it. That was it. But the crowd, they were chanting. So, sorry. Did you watch the press conference at all yesterday? They wanted him there. They were chanting for him there, and they were chanting for him today. The crowd wanted. I mean, if they somehow convinced him, and I know it would never happen, if he would have showed up, he would have got the loudest pop of the night. It wouldn't have even been close. It would have been electric. But
do you think they know? Like, do the fans
that was never
know?
Happen.
Do you think the fans there in Saudi know why he doesn't make the trip? Because even, outside of kayfabe, if I'm at a show here in the States and I know that a certain wrestler, or, here in Miami, and I know that a wrestler is not making the trip to the show because he hates Miami, like literally hates Miami, hates Florida, is never going to step foot in this state, I wouldn't be cheering and chanting that I want him at the show. I wouldn't.
Yeah. Now we kind of get into like how do the people feel?
Do you think they know?
I would imagine they know. They seem. I mean, I thought the crowd was great. I thought they were from start to finish. I thought they were into the show. They knew who to cheer for. They did not cheer. Even at the press conference, they were awesome. So I gotta think they know, and I would imagine that there's probably a contingency of people there who would rather him not be there. And there's probably a contingency of people there who probably understand why he doesn't want to be there. That's just my guess. I mean, look, we don't live there, so I don't know the thought of the population, but I'm sure that it's a split, just like kind of anywhere. Right.
So we would imagine that Logan Paul will go away for a little bit. They'll bring him back for the next special thing. I think that'll be Royal Rumble. We're only 2.5 months away. It's really right around the corner.
Do you think there's a shot that he's full-time then?
No.
No chance.
I mean, not right now. No. Roman Reigns, though, moving forward. Now, so there's been a build for Logan Paul. It's been like the last month and a half, where does Roman Reigns, like, who's the next challenger now for Roman Reigns? Where do they go with him?
I have no idea. I mean, I think
because McIntyre beat Karrion Kross, and we'll get to that in a second. McIntyre lost the last big event to Roman Reigns, so he's not going to be the guy that's next up. Lashley, and we'll get to that, is coming off a loss. He's not going to be the next guy up. Like, who?
And it can't be Brock, and it's not going to be Brock again because of the way Brock beat Lashley.
I don't think that we're ready for the whole Kevin Owens Roman thing, because I think they're saving that for whenever the Sammy out of the bloodline stuff happens, which I hope is not for a really long time. I think they're saving that story for that.
Or they start it now. That gives them 2 months to build a main event at Royal Rumble between KO and Roman. And then it's KO and Sammy at Mania.
Maybe.
And then hug it out. Hey, we're friends again type of thing.
So that's the way you see it going down, which I'm sure personally is how they would want it. They would love to fight each other at WrestleMania. Personally, I'm sure that's what they want. But I had always envisioned Sammy's eventually going to get kicked out of the bloodline. Again, I hope it's not anytime soon. He's going to get kicked out of the bloodline, and that's going to rekindle the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn friendship.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. Or I was thinking it would be that, or it would be something along the lines of the bloodline is like torturing Kevin Owens, and Sammy turns on the bloodline to help Kevin Owens because he can't take it that his best friend's getting beat up.
Again, I hope it's not for a long time, but it seems
I think
like
they probably expected it to be already. I think WWE,
I think so.
On some level, they probably already expected it and didn't expect Sammy to be so over and so good.
I think so
that
too.
I don't think they have a choice right now to keep it that way.
I think so too. All right, so let's work our way backwards here. Obviously, right decision. Roman Reigns.
Can I just go back to one thing before we move on? I really want to know, right? So I think it's very clear, and I actually don't even think it's particularly close. Like if you look at the history of celebrities, part-timers who have come in, there are 3 in the last 3 years that are the top 3 in whatever. Logan Paul, Pat McAfee, Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Do you genuinely think Bad Bunny is the best of them? Because
okay,
like if you're going to do your top 3 right now, give me your top 3.
Okay, I think after today's performance, Logan Paul was cemented as all-time greatest celebrity performer.
Okay. I think, and people who know me that are listening to this are going to say I'm biased. If you look at the body of work, I think it's still Pat McAfee.
Well, I think part of what happens with me and with Bad Bunny is McAfee is a professional athlete. Sure. Logan Paul now is a professional athlete. Bad Bunny... he boxes as a professional athlete,
right.
You know?
Yeah.
Bad Bunny, you look at him, you would have no reason to believe that he has an athletic bone in his body. And then,
he also hasn't had a solo match. He hasn't had a one-on-one match.
Right, but then he had that. But I see, then he had that WrestleMania performance at WrestleMania 37, and the bar, at least for me, was so low. And he came out there and was just phenomenal. So that's part of where I come from with Bad Bunny.
Yeah. Logan's match, I think you'd say Logan's match is the best match for a celebrity part-timer ever. But what I'll say about McAfee is a 25-minute match with Adam Cole, which was incredible. Austin Theory at Mania. Then he had Vince's last match ever.
War Games.
He had War Games where he did a swanton off of the cage. I mean, what McAfee did in his 4 or 5 matches is pretty remarkable. Now, Logan will definitely be there. But it's probably like 1A, 1B. And Bad Bunny's, his performances were incredible. Like they were great for what we expected from, I should say, Bad Bunny. But I still got to go McAfee, but I'm a McAfee guy. So that's not going to be surprising to the people who know me.
Let's run through a couple of the lesser matches today. All right, let's start out here. Braun Strowman, Omos. Nobody likes Omos. It was a no-brainer that Braun Strowman was going to win this match. It was just a matter of how it was going to be presented. Braun's not going to come back and lose his first big feud. I thought Omos looked pretty good today. The only part that was weird to me was, hold on, Omos is dominating the whole match. He's looking pretty good. And all it took was one power slam for Braun. He wins the match.
Well, and I think this is probably the limitation of having, as you call it, a Haas match, right? He's limited. So there's only so much you can do. And like you said, you're not going to have Braun lose. The thing to me was that if this is what this match was, it probably doesn't need to be on the same card as Lashley and Lesnar because it was essentially the same match. one guy dominates for 10 minutes. Another guy has an action. In Brock's case, it wasn't an F5, but it was what it was. He's getting his ass kicked the whole time. He wins. Braun getting his ass kicked the whole time. He wins. They're very similar.
I guess what I'm saying is,
could also Braun with both of them, it doesn't.
I guess what I'm saying is, could Braun have picked him up and given him a second power slam and then pinned him? Like just one,
or something. Yeah, he could have done a lot of things. He picked him up pretty damn easily. I mean, Braun is. I mean, golly, that guy's strong. But yeah, I mean, I liked.
You're the guy.
I like his shit talking in the ring.
You're the guy that likes him. I did like him looking at the camera. This is your giant. It it's Killmonger in Black Panther. Is this your king? I dug that.
Yeah. I thought it was good. I think for what the expectations are for him, when you have a guy like him, a 7'3", not super athletic, pretty green, you don't expect him to have any skill speaking like at all. And he's not terrible in chunks. No MVP, by the way. Which I don't know. I guess maybe he doesn't travel to Saudi Arabia either. But yeah, I thought. Look, it was what it was. I guess you had to have something for Braun to do on his return. So it is what it is. Braun. It wouldn't be surprising to me to see Braun move on and move up pretty quickly onto something much bigger soon too.
Okay, well, here's what could happen there. Now, Braun is on Raw, right?
Sure. Yep.
Lashley's on Raw as well. So Lashley loses to Lesnar, and without talking about the actual match, did we watch Bobby Lashley do a heel turn at the end of the match today?
Sure. Well, I think yes. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Do people care that much about Bobby Lashley? Because what I'm saying is, he's been on a really good run, so I think they care more now. But I think so. You could do a Braun Bobby Lashley program now, is what I'm getting at. But Braun and Brock aren't done. They can't be done after that match. But Brock and Lashley are not done yet. You're saying? Sorry, Bobby and Brock. Yeah, they can't be done. Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley can't be done after that match. I think they are for right now. I mean, Brock came back. They gave him probably $750,000 to fly out to Saudi, do a match. I think he's probably done for right now. Maybe like a couple months. Okay, I see what you're saying. But when he comes back, it's going to be against Bobby Lashley. Yeah, maybe. They could do the third match because I guess they're 1-1 now, right? They're 1-1. And, I mean, do you want to talk about that match? The way it ended, I mean, the kick off of the Brock is in the old Roddy lock. Piper, Bret Hart move. Yeah, Brock is in the hurt lock and kicks off of the turnbuckle, and Bobby's shoulders are pinned, and he doesn't realize it, and he loses. Yeah. So now Bobby can always say, "Well, you didn't really beat me." Right. I think the most interesting part there that came out of it, because Brock's going to go away for a little bit. It's not going to be on Raw on Monday. I think the most interesting part of it is I feel like after having a really good babyface run right now, I feel like we kind of saw Bobby Lashley. Like they may be turning him. Yeah, and I could see him coming out on Raw and running down Brock and saying he can't hang with me. You saw it. Nobody in the back is as strong as me. No one's as physical as me. Mm-hmm. And then here comes the monster. It makes sense.